In today's video, I want to do a trade recap. I've managed to take 2 trades in a short period of time, with one being a stop loss and the other one being a fat W. As you can see on the screen, we have taken these trades. These trades were also pre-planned into the Discord. We can clearly see I was watching Fartcoin for potential shorts. We had this tons of liquidity being built up and this support and resistance. We are going to go into the technicals in a bit, but I want to show you this first. So I've actually posted that I was in this short right now. This one ended up being the stop loss. I had my reasons to take this trade. This was my setup, so I took it. And then straight after, my setup formed again. No trader has a 100% win rate, but if you keep shooting your setups, your proven setups, then you will make money into this market. If you are interested in the Discord, it's absolutely free Discord. The link will be in the description, and we're also working on basic education and free education overall. Make sure to join the free Discord and I'll see you there. If we're gonna take a look at the technicals on Fartcoin here, let's start at the higher time frame. Big 4-hour picture here. You can clearly see we were in this huge range here, and price trended up crazy aggressively, but we cannot do this forever. We are leaving these lows for later. So when do you have a reason to trade towards all of this liquidity? Well, let's start by drawing in our structure, because we have a high, a higher low, and a higher high. We started to break that higher high, creating a lower low, which turns around our expectational order flow in a lower high for another lower low, which we have done here. But after we form this trend, what kind of people are coming into the market? A lot of sellers, okay? And where are those sellers going to be? At the highs, of course. And that made it interesting for the market makers to come all the way back there and then release price and just absolutely annihilate everyone right here and continue to trade their positions that they have scaled in here into profits. So now that we've established a bit of a high time frame picture here, we knew we were trading down with crazy momentum coming from market makers right there. Then I've also marked out this little bit here. Why do I think this is relevant? Because if you look at this structure over here, we have a low towards a high that made us a lower low. Then this is the pullback right here that broke us towards new highs. So sellers tried to make new lows, which was expected because of this order flow. But buyers stepped in, they took over this whole move, and we started to break structure and then continue our trend from there. So this would be relevant for me, for Fartcoin to come back and potentially trade up from here again. So the trick that we did at the high time frame, luring in a lot of sellers and then taking them out, we actually did the same on this lower time frame here, because we started trading up. Our trend is bullish, we're attracting more buyers into the market. Then we got a quick move down, luring in a lot of sellers in this move right here, because you could argue that this trend up was just to grab a little liquidity here, but then to continue. Also, by taking this low, we've created a low, a high, a lower low, and what is expectational order flow? It's a lower high for new lower lows. Locally, you never got a confirmation for shorts here, so no entry. But because of you lured all of these sellers into the market, that makes it interesting for them to take out this high again. And from there, we started releasing again the same way we did on this higher time frame with this move. So all in all, we're manipulating towards the downside. We did the same right here. We were trending down. We made a lower low, a lower high, and lower lows, luring in a lot of sellers into the market here. Then we took out all of those sellers with this move right here. We had this untested supply here. Was amazing confluences to also look for shorts here. But a lot of sellers stepped in, took them out, and then we just started releasing once again. So while a lot of people would be looking for longs in these areas of support, it is difficult for me to look for longs there, because everything is pointing at downwards momentum and manipulation towards the downside that we need to go lower. This would also align with our bias to test back this whole demand zone here. So my overall bias was down. Now let's look at this local picture and see what triggers I had to take this trade. Let's just start a little on the 15 minutes, because what happened here is we had a low, a high, and that brought us all the way towards new lows. What does this mean for me? That means for me, no matter what happens in this whole box, our expectational order flow is still down and we can still look for shorts, especially when you test the part that brought you all the way towards new lows. Why is it this part? You can clearly see this is your last pullback before you broke this low. So where did the strength from the sellers came from? That's right here. This is where they stepped in to break our low. So you have to ask yourself a question: if price comes back there, are they willing to defend their orders or push their orders into more profits? Well, with all those confluences in mind, you can clearly look for shorts. We're also building up tons of liquidity on the lows. That's why we had this crazy move towards the downside. And this is not how you leave lows, right? If you are really bullish and you want to manipulate for the upside, we need to take out these lows, manipulate, fill up orders, and then continue from there. There's zero market maker manipulation right here to look for more upside. It's just building up liquidity on the lows till we have grabbed enough on the highs to then reverse towards the liquidity that we've all just built up. I was waiting for price to come into this supply zone, and from there on I started looking for shorts. So what happened here? We were trending up in big lines, right? But then you tap the supply and you've got a crazy sharp reaction towards the downside. So what is our structure right now? We have created a high, a higher low, and another higher high. So what is our expectational order flow? That is a higher low for another higher high. We failed to do so, so we've made a change of character. That means our order flow is now bearish and we've made a lower low. And what can we expect from our order flow right now? That is a lower high for new lower lows. Because you have all the room to look for that lower high in this area right here. Because this is where sellers took over, and this is also where you can expect the lower high for new lower lows, which is just expectational order flow. So what were my entry triggers here on the lower time frame? Well, with this move downwards, we've built up a little liquidity. And if I'm waiting for this order flow to continue downwards, I want to see an internal break. And that's what we got right here. We wicked our extreme liquidity, which was in my opinion enough to start rotating down, especially when we have taken out this low. So you're trending up, and then our internal structure also broke down, and now we can expect a lower high for a lower low. That was the reason I took this trade. This is literally all the confluence I need to have to take a trade. I would shoot this any day of the week, no problem. But a trader doesn't have 100% win rate. If you have a proven strategy, you can make profits while day trading. So this was a stop loss, unfortunately, but my bias was still unscrapped because we're still expecting this lower high for the lower low. We thought we had the confluences to do it from here. Unfortunately, we did not. So we were still patiently waiting for more price action to develop. It turns out this week it was a hunt, of course, but look at the strength of the hunt. We just went above it a little bit, so that also means there was still liquidity to grab here. And that's exactly why the market still went up there. Also, the same trick happened here. We broke internally, a lot of people got into a sell position, me as well. Then they got stopped out, and then price can release towards the desired direction. Looking at our structure going upwards, with a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Then we flipped this demand. This was supposed to bring you towards new higher highs, but failed doing so. We've now made a lower low. What is expectational order flow after a lower low? It's a lower high for new lower lows. If a demand fails you to bring you towards new highs and you flip it, it becomes a breaker. The breaker is the most aggressive way for the market to test back, and that's also where I had my order. What were my targets? because if we had this range here, my target was also this range low. This was also combined with another left open demand. So great confluences to trade towards this position here. Thank you everyone for watching this video. And once again, if you are interested in a free Discord with me and more like-minded traders, then make sure you join. The link will be in the description. It's absolutely free. There's free education as well. The only thing you can do here is learning and becoming a better trader. Trader Cage is out, and I'll see you in the next one.